Welcome back, everybody. I'm Naha. This is 30 Days of Tarot, day 29. Can you guys believe it? We're almost there. Now, there's definitely been a couple of things that I wanted to squeeze into this series that I wasn't able to. I did have more than 30 decks to open when I started, and I received a few more decks since I did start, so there's going to be more unboxings that come after this, definitely. But there's two decks that I still have to open as part of this series, so today we are going to be opening the Shewolf Tarot, another one that it's just been killing me to have sitting unopened. I've had this deck for probably the good part of a year, and I love the Serpent Fire so much. That deck was made by the same artist, WOLFE. She's an artist from Canada, and this was this next deck that she put out. And I've seen it because some of my students have this deck, and so sometimes they bring it to class, and I just know that I'm gonna love it and that it's gonna be gorgeous. But before we open that, I had a surprise package on my doorstep today. And so it's not ever a strange thing for me to see packages or a pile of packages outside of my door, but I grabbed this thinking, oh, you know, just another book that I ordered. And then I saw who it came from, and this is actually my publisher. So what I am thinking is that this is the first copy of my book. So I think this is going to be a book reveal, but I also am not totally sure. It could be something else. It could be like a mock copy where it's just got the cover and no inside. So I'm not sure, but we're going to go ahead and open it together right now. You know, I don't know if I've told you guys, but it's so funny when this publishing company contacted me about doing this book. I wasn't already writing the book. I was just talking about wanting to write books, and there was a few different things that I had in mind, and they reached out to me. They said, this is probably coming as a strange thing out of the blue, but we are a publishing company. We want to put out a book on crystal healing, and we want you to write it. And I said, that doesn't sound strange at all. I think I manifested this. So drum roll, please. Oh my gosh, you guys. Ah. This is it. This is my book, and this is the actual book. I'm dying. Wow. Oh my gosh, it feels good. They gave it a silky cover. I'm so excited. So here it is, Everyday Crystal Rituals. Wow, this is so cool. And all my babies are here in the back. I think that I shared with you guys that this book contains 100 crystal profiles, and that's just the supplement to it. I wrote what they're useful for, how I use them, and it all comes from my own personal experience. And these are my actual crystals from my collection. So you guys can see my babies. And if you've ever had a healing with me, if you've ever come in person to House of Intuition and done a crystal healing, there's a good chance that I've probably used these stones on you. So you might even recognize some of them in here. And the main part of the book is the rituals, and so there are 60 rituals in here. 20 for your home, 20 for manifesting love, heart healers and such, and 20 for prosperity, for abundance, for self-worth, all solar plexus based. So I'm just so excited, you guys. It's actually here, and the way that they have illustrated it is so beautiful as well. So I hope you guys love it. I know a lot of you have already pre-ordered. Thank you so much. That helps me out so much to get the ball rolling with this. And the link, of course, is going to be down in the description box. And if you're overseas, you will be able to order one from my website, and I will personally make sure that you are able to get one. So, yay! It's here! All right, well, that is already exciting enough. This video can now end. We're still gonna open this deck today, and as I said, this is the Shewolf Tarot. This might be one that a few of you guys have, because I just feel that Devonese decks are so popular. She, to me, is the queen, and I just love following along with her Instagram and all of the beautiful things that she posts on there. Wow, this is a meaty deck. Look at the size of this. So here it is, just the presentation. You know, I'm a big fan of Egyptian things, so the fact that she uses the Egyptian iconography in her work is just an automatic turn on for me. And on the back here it says, your odyssey awaits. 78 card deck, plus 2 secret arcana, plus 200-page guidebook. That's awesome. It looks good, it feels good. I mean, It's totally different from Serpent Fire too, right? All right, here we go. And there's the inside of the box as well. I like this font that she chose. Now there's something here that we saw. I can't remember which deck this was. Oh, you know what? It was the Sacred India, where rather than seeing the cards in upright and reverse, they use this idea of in light or in shadow. It looks like she did that too here, because on the back it says light and shadow meanings of each card, mantras, reading spreads, glossary, all written by Devaney Amber Wolfe. Hey, guess who I just found? Look, this is Nuit, or sometimes also called Newt. Do you remember we saw her in the Kazanlar deck? She's the goddess of the night sky, and she's like a big arc over the sky. Cool. Okay, so in the bottom it says, where the road ends, the journey begins. Ancient pathways are known by the future self. Your odyssey awaits amidst dunes of self-love. Sands of time do not bury our universal truth. Come now and find, beautiful seeker, the eternal ones are here to guide you and unfold your infinite awakening. When she says, ancient pathways are known by the future self, this concept of future self is something that I connect to very, very strongly. Look at these gorgeous pink metallic edges. Wow, that's something different. In the day and age of all decks having gold edges, you gotta switch it up a little bit, and these are really, really pretty. It's a little bit larger deck, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and just show you guys half at a time. So yes, the future self. Yum. Which I often do find myself looking back from. And so I will say sometimes to my friends or to my students, well, when my future self is looking back at this situation, I can see that everything's gonna either work out okay, or that this is the way we should move. This is her, this is Devaney, the artist, there on the High Priestess. And so some people seem to think that that idea is kind of strange. This idea of the future self, they're like, what are you talking about when you look back from your future self? And I don't know, it's just not a strange thing to me. Maybe it's just a matter of how long I've been working with the tarot, that it's just easy for me to look from that perspective. But oftentimes what we're trying to do is get out of the sort of ping-ponging back and forth. Oh, love this. She's gone with Crowley's name for this card. This would be the strength card, but she's using that name Lust. Beautiful. You know, we ping pong back and forth between the mind and the heart, and there's of course the saying of like, oh well, follow your heart. Of course that's what you should follow, but the truth is sometimes the heart will lead you places that you don't need to be. I mean, think of times that you might have in love and passion in whatever way just gone with your heart, and then that did not end up going good. You know, sometimes the mind would have known better than the heart did. But ultimately what we want to do is we want to come from a higher perspective. I absolutely love that. Wow. The balance. I love that it's symmetrical, but then you see the rose, and the rose isn't perfectly symmetrical. So, hanged being. Well, I love that. Ooh, there's Death, Anubis. So they have kind of like a retro feel. And then some of that's also invoked for me from the font. But they are, I don't know, they're kind of like 60s. They're sort of mod. They're, wow, the devil. I mean, they definitely have sort of a like Bond, Barbarella kind of feel to them. Now the tower she's decided to call the Will of Mars. And I've shared with you that in the majors, 7 of the cards do correspond to the classical planets. And this is the card that would correspond to Mars. And there we have just a gorgeous star. They just really are their own thing. Look at this moon. So she's got Hathor here. And we see the Hebrew letter Kof. So Kof is the letter which corresponds to the moon card in the Golden Dawn tradition. And if you can see, Kof, it kind of looks like the letter P, but it's got this line coming down and it's got this part here. And Kof means the back of the head. So that letter is actually hieroglyphic because it's like the back of your neck and then your face. So that is the area, the back of your neck, where you have the medulla oblongata. And that's the part of our brain that controls all of our involuntary functions. So things like our heart beating and our breathing and things like coughing and sneezing and stuff that we're not consciously deciding to do. So it's definitely a part of the brain that is connected to the subconscious. And the subconscious is very much represented in the moon card. There's the Eon, again, going with the trolley names. And then for the world or the universe card, she has the cosmic union. There's the tree of life there, and the Ankh, which is the symbol of life. Wow. Ooh, Ace of Cups. Creating this galaxy. How cool is that? There is the 2. So what do you guys think? These are next level, aren't they? I like the sand dunes. I was a big fan of reading the Dune series back probably, and it wasn't even when I was super young. I would say probably around the time that I was in my 30s, I discovered those books. And there's quite a few of them. So, you know, a lot of you guys, you know, Dune the movie. But there's a series, I want to say there's at least like 7, maybe 8 books. Wow, the 10 of Cups. That's really gorgeous. Here's the page. And they just really, really drew me in. So I remember just blowing through those Dune books one after another and just really getting kind of obsessed for a little while. Oh wow, the King of Cups. He builds his throne over the water. And in that way, the King of Cups is no longer just thrown all around by the waves. He's not struggling to stay afloat. The King of Cups denotes mastery over the emotional realm. The labyrinth there on the 4 of Wands. Wow, that's a cool one. Something about this artist, she just, you know, she has a magical mind and she clearly has magical knowledge, but her eye as a designer just leaves things really, really unique. And I think that these cards leave a lot of room for you to sort of use this as just the beginning of a journey and really delve into it. Now here on the 9 of Wands, she's got this giant moon. Kabbalistically, the moon does correspond to the 9, so I'm guessing that that was a purposeful decision, but sometimes things just end up on the cards that end up being actually corresponding that people don't even intend or purposefully put in there. There we see the page. That's cool with that little doorway. Can't you imagine that any one of these could be the beginning of a meditation? That you imagine yourself in one of these scenes and then you just see where it takes you. You place yourself here, you close your eyes, and then you just begin to explore. Explorative meditation is a big part of, in the Kabbalistic Western mystery tradition, called pathworking. And in pathworking, basically, you are astrally projecting yourself into the scene, into the card, and going to see who you might meet there, what you might find, what you might work through. And so I've shared with you guys that we do pathworking here in Los Angeles, and it's 32 paths in all to go through the entire tree. So you do one path for each of the major arcana, and then you do one path for each of the numbers. So 1 through 10, so you have 32 altogether. Wow, the 10 of Swords with all of those snakes. And so we can only do 2 or maybe 3 path workings. There's Nuit per month, which means that it's taking us a year to do the entire tree. So right now we've already completed the bottom part of the tree. We're not quite halfway, but we are getting close to that, and we're unfolding in the most magical way. I consider it to be one of the most magical operations that I will have done in my career as a ceremonial practitioner. And you can imagine that a magical working that takes a year, how powerful and transformative that's going to be on you, right? I love this one, 5 of Pentacles. So it's a total departure from anything that you guys might be used to seeing in the cards. It's definitely her own take, and I think that it's totally refreshing. Wow, I love seeing that just under these giant discs. I remember when she had put out requests for people to actually submit their photographs to be included in this deck, which I think is so cool. beautiful queen. There is the king. And then, oh, the secret arcana. We have Saturn and Mercury. And those look very cool laid together, don't they? So there is something really cool that I see now when we look at this, and that's that the color of the sky changes. But I looked to see if that was specifically with the suits. And while there is an aspect that the pentacles have kind of a pale yellow and the swords are pale green, but actually it's a gradient. I don't think that it's just solid and changes from suit to suit, because you'll see that the swords go from kind of a green into a blue. From a blue, they start to actually change into a purple in the middle of the wands, and then taking us back to a light pink color. So how cool is that? That they're not actually just these cards are blue, these cards are purple, these cards are pink, but that they actually have that gradient, and then all of the majors have that pale pink color. So once again, Devaney of Serpent Fire has not disappointed in the gorgeous Shewolf Tarot. And we see that wolf right here at the beginning on the Fool card. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with me today to take a look at the absolutely gorgeous Shewolf Tarot, and for being here with me for my book reveal. But let's go ahead and pull a card. So you guys can go ahead and center yourselves for a moment. Just get still. Maybe close your eyes for a second and take a nice big deep breath, and really use this as an opportunity to get just a little message, a little bit of guidance. And I don't think we even need to pose a question. We'll just ask, what is it that the universe wants us to see today? What is it that we need to pay attention to? Okay. So I'm going to cut. And here's our card. Page of Cups. This is kind of interesting because remember how earlier we saw the King of Cups, and I told you that the king is the master over the emotions? Well, the page is the one that is the lowest of that hierarchy of mastery over the emotions. But in that, there's an innocence that the pages have, and just a freeness and an ability to just feel one's emotions without having to have some kind of a mastery or some kind of a handle on things. And it's also interesting that we talked earlier about the following of the heart or the mind, and that sometimes the heart should not be listened to because the heart can lead you to not so savory places. However, in the Page of Cups, you really are being asked to let your heart decide and go ahead and move forward by what you feel and by what is in your heart, and just to allow your feelings to happen without trying to judge them, without trying to make sense of them, without trying to get a handle on them. So you can let your natural instincts and your natural desires lead you, and you have the right to have your feelings, even if they are messy. Just give yourself an allowance. Let's go ahead and see what she says in the book about the Page of Cups. She corresponds this card to Venus and says, inner self, strength, beginnings, exploration, sensitivity. When we protect ourselves in balance, we provide a safe space for intuition, gut instincts, sensitivity, love, and self-exploration to grow fertile. This provides a wonderful foundation for us to feel through ourselves again, gain inner strength, and be able to say no when necessary. It also gives us the confidence to say yes, too. We can see the Page of Cups as our love protector, one who nurtures and cares for all matters of the heart. She comes to us when we need a safe space to grow our inner garden. Love that. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already, and come back tomorrow for the big finale. So tomorrow I'm going to be opening up my most rare tarot deck that will be in my entire collection, and the most expensive one. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. Come on back and we will wrap up the entire series. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.